welcome to everyone. Today we're discussing house sitting as a valuable opportunity for travel, pet companionship, saving on accommodation and making new friends around the world. And joining us today is pro sitter Erin Dowler, who's a veterinarian extraordinaire and also known as the furry godmother. So for beginners trying to land their first house sits, have you got any top tips on building a profile or messaging or first impressions? What would you like to share with us?
Yeah, so I think, as I say, our kind of journey ended up being unintentionally a bit of we just landed in it, which is really lovely, but I understand not kind of most people's experience. I think if you've got any experience with animals, whatever that is, that can be growing up with pets in your household, or if you've done a volunteer stint at SPCA or anything like that, I think people feel more comfortable knowing that you just have experience with animals. Particularly, I think something like 99% of house and pet sits have pets. It's just people are more looking for pet care than house care. They want to know that the home is safe and secure, but it's more about their fur kids being happy and looked after. So I think making sure you kind of lean into that side when you're putting a blurb together. And obviously photos with cute, happy animals helps quite a lot. So if you don't have your own at that time, which is common if you're starting the journey, then find some friends' pets and get some good photos if you don't have any material. Yeah, and I think if you've got anyone in your life who you've kind of taken care of things for, whether that's they went away and you went in and looked after the home and collected the mail and that sort of thing, or just other people in your life, whether that's even bosses from jobs or colleagues or anyone who can kind of write you a little bit of a blurb to say, actually, this is quite a solid person. You can rely on them and I would be comfortable having them come in and do this for me. Then that kind of helps people. And with time, as you get kind of more reviews and more people who you've actually done it for, that obviously becomes easier. But just at the start, pull together whatever resources you have and think of any kind of points of difference, I guess. So, for example, if you had, rabbits growing up, then that's something quite unique. People with rabbits are going to cling on to that really quickly. So, yeah, anything that kind of just makes you stand out a little bit can help as well.
Swimming pool maintenance was one that turned up for us.
Yeah.
We hadn't done it before. We got a house sit, we had to learn how to do it, and then all of a sudden that's on our profile, and people actually go, you'll actually stop our swimming pool turning green while we're away, and that's quite valuable as well. So
absolutely.
Points of difference is very valuable. So looking back, what do you wish that you had known when you first got started? Any lessons you've learned or challenges or how you've changed your approach over time?
So many. So many. So I think one of the things that I really realized is it's about making sure that you're well matched for the sit. So I guess think of it like when you first are applying for a job, you often think, I really want this job. But I guess the more you do work-wise, you realize, actually, I also want a job where the job's going to work for me. So you sort of do the same thing with house and pet sitting, where with time you think, I actually want to make sure this is a really good fit both ways. So I found that shaping a series of questions that I asked in return was really helpful for that. So we just have a list when someone reaches out and says, hey, we're looking for a pet sitter. Can you tell us a bit about you? I've got a little blurb that tells them a bit about us and then actually asks some, I call them sifting questions to see whether they're right for us and whether we're right for them and can we actually meet the pet's needs. So the kind of questions we ask is, where are you based? What are your dates? The obvious things. But then also, how long is your pet okay left on their own for? Some pets struggle more with being on their own, and for different people, they have different amounts of hours that they need to be able to leave the house. So it's thinking, can I actually meet that pet's needs? Can I be home enough for them? How often, what are their exercise needs? How often do they need to be walked if they're a dog? And, are they indoor only if they're a cat, or are they indoor outdoor? And just kind of asking things like, do they have any behavioral quirks or any health concerns or medications? So, I mean, for us, a lot of that stuff's workable, but I think particularly when you're kind of new to it and you really want to take sits that are going to give you good reviews and build your confidence. So taking things where you're like, yep, I'm comfortable with what the animals need. I'm comfortable going into the situation that it's going to go well for them and it's going to go well for us, so that everyone has a good experience moving forward. So I wish I'd made my list of questions earlier.
Yep. So it's a bit like you're actually interviewing the house owners as well as being interviewed. So it goes both ways, that it needs to work for both people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we had a couple of, so one of the questions, for example, is, will anyone else be residing at the property during the stay? And I mean, we had a couple of, I'll say, surprises where you organize a sit and then right before it's sort of like, oh, and by the way, and for some people that's not a problem at all. So it may not even be a question. But some of my partner's work can involve noise, for example. And so that was a situation we felt wasn't ideal, more for the other person, that we were trying to be really considerate too. So yeah, it's just kind of thinking, okay, what do we both need? And I think the other big thing is I would have made containers, I'm going to call them, earlier. So we have our box of glass things, which is things like wine and olive oil and just things that we need. So that's all kind of safely stored in a glass box. And then we have bathroom drawers. So if we're going somewhere, particularly for a shorter amount of time, you can literally just pop your bathroom drawers down and everything's there that you need. So categorizing your items definitely makes the move in and the move out easier.
Yeah, we've ended up with a kitchen drawers set, which has got our herbs, spices, cooking things, knife sharpener, because the knives are always blunt. So that moves in, and then we've got a box of all our bathroom stuff, so that moves in, and then another container with the olive oil and bits and pieces that are more bottle shaped. So it's really good having that organised so that you know where everything is. You just pick it up and move it, and when you put it into a new house, you feel like you're home.
Yeah,
you know where your stuff
think
is.
Nesting is important. Call it nesting, because if you move into a space and you just kind of don't take that hour to put things where you want, the whole time you're there is kind of difficult. Whereas if you actually move in and put things in the right places, then the rest of the time's easier. You know, you're already thinking, where are the mugs again? You don't want to wonder where your things are. You just want to be thinking about where their things are. And I guess I wish I'd known it gets so much easier with time, because I think when I talk to pet sitters who are in the beginning, sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, and every house is different at that point in time, for example. And so every time you move somewhere, you're thinking, okay, new animals, new house, need to learn how to work the appliances and what the pet's needs are and everything. And now probably about 85% of our sits are repeat clients. And it's so easy. It's just like moving into your own home again. You know the routine, you know where you put your things, and it's completely different. So
the dog's pleased to see you, and you know where the dairy and the supermarket is, and you're sorted.
It's just so much simpler as time goes on.
So one other piece of advice that I've picked up from other house sitting friends is to start house sitting in areas where you'd like to spend more time, because you will probably have repeat sits, and then you actually build a repertoire of repeat clients in an area, and you end up spending some wonderful time in wonderful places.
Yeah. I mean, we're a little bit unique in that too. So because I still have a location-based job, so as opposed to kind of using pet sitting just to travel everywhere, which we do sits out of the area for holidays, which we love, but we do a lot of our sits in focused areas, and we still have our diaries very full. And I think when we started, we kind of took sits in more different locations, which in some ways we absolutely loved, and we still choose to do some of those sits for the novelty and the experience of it. but we also have a really good base in an area that's convenient for my work. And that's really helpful. We're in a big city, so traffic is relevant.
Yep.
And being able to book into an area that, we have a gym membership and we have regular, activities and things that we do and friendships. So you don't always have to do house and pet sitting in like this big sprawling area. It's one option, but you actually can also base yourself in an area, because I think word of mouth ends up being the most effective form of advertising you have.
Those good referrals that, they're worth gold.
They're gold.
Yep. So what do you love most about house sitting? We've kind of touched on a few things, but have you got any highlights that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, animals are so important, and I think I'm with love to myself a little bit of a weirdo, and that I can spend all day working with animals and I still come home and I'm so excited to see the pets. Like that never changes for me. So I love the connections. Like that's so special. And it's so interesting seeing which animals end up like really digging into your heart and just end up being some of your soul pets, and you feel like they're your own, genuinely. So I love that. That's definitely still a big draw card for me. I feel like now I almost couldn't go back for a lot of reasons, but because I'm like, but I have all these fur kids who need me. So
you've got a responsibility for a wider fur family.
Yeah, they're precious. And because we do kind of sit in an area, it's given us this whole community as well. And you have that even when you're doing it further afield as well. Lots of, friends from afar. But yeah, we walk the beach and we bump into other animals that we look after and other owners who we have friendships with now. So that's been really cool too. Kind of an unexpected aspect of it, I think.
Yeah, certainly for us, we've built friends in different areas of the country, and it's really cool to go, oh, yeah, we're in Whangarei. Oh, let's catch up with so-and-so. We haven't seen them for a while, and it's really cool having those connections in different places.
Yeah, and we're the same, where we do our little holiday sits. We go and we've got, say 5 different people that we make sure we line up to see while we're there. And yeah, it's really neat. So an extra kind of bonus to the whole thing. And obviously, I mean, for me, variety is the spice of life. I'm one of those people. I like having like a little bit of stability, but I don't need too much. And so I almost can't imagine living in one place now. I remember we were up at one of our like favorite locations a little bit further out. And I just said, every time we move, I feel sad that we're leaving where we're leaving, but I'm also excited about wherever we're going. And it feels like hitting the road for a holiday every time, like still after all these years. And I just kind of can't really imagine always doing the same street walks and, just having that kind of lack of change. And, I love going into new houses when we do have them as well, because everything's new and different. And even seeing, I mean, we joke about if we ever did in a far off future settle somewhere, we'd be like, okay, we want this tap, we want this kind of sink, like
we're not having vertical blinds.
You get to try all sorts of different things, and sometimes you walk into a house and go, oh man, that's really cool. I would never have thought to do that. That's a really neat idea that is in my think tank for anyone who wants ideas one day. And I mean, different views. And a lot of the houses we end up in are houses that are way beyond anything we could afford renting, buying, etc. So it's just kind of
it's amazing connecting with the owners of those fairly premium houses, some of them, and it's wonderful just being able to learn from them, how they got to where they got to and insights on their lives, and it just opens up your whole worldview to different ideas and different opportunities.
I mean, that's the wider community that you get with it, right? And people who you probably just wouldn't really bump into otherwise.
And our latest discovery is, you can get a double bed where one part or the other side, the back can lift up and drop down. And we're like,
Right.
oh, that sounds really good. Whoever wakes up first, you can put the bed up. And
Yeah.
it sounded amazing. But there's actually like this territory of no man's land with a draft
middle.
running right down the middle of the bed. And
Yeah.
we're like, oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
not so cool. So that's one of
Yeah.
our recent discoveries.
Yeah. You're like, okay, wouldn't buy one of those. Noted. Yeah. I mean, sometimes people ask us when my parents is a classic example, they were getting a new dishwasher. And Dad actually came to me and said, with your wealth of experience, I'm just wondering, do you actually have types or preferences, drawers or front opening, the cutlery drawer up top or the basket, silly little things, but you actually do get preferences for certain things and get to try different things.
Are we going to come and say hello now? Who we got here? Hi, who's
See?
this?
This is Axel.
Hi, Axel. Well, doggy Zoom.
Yeah, doggy Zoom has begun. It was always going to happen.
Yep. Axel, what are you? Part Fox Terrier or part Border?
He
What have we got?
He is a Border Collie cross Foxy. And he is, laugh, but he is the most well-rounded dog in the world. Yep. He's a favourite pet sit of ours. So he's very chill at home. And he loves, obviously, going out for adventures. But, he loves all people. He loves all dogs. He's okay for a decent bit of time on his own if he needs to be. And
well-adjusted puppy.
Very well-adjusted puppy. Hey. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And he's 10 years old, but he still looks 10 months. He's going to look good for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Erin, for joining us, and we appreciate you sharing your house sitting journey with us, and we hope to hear from you again soon.
No worries. Thanks so much.
Bye, Axel.